Have you ever been in a room with a seller who doesn't know the answer for an objection? And I mean, this seller has been spending 6 months and has $150,000 on the line, and the prospect delivers that game-changing objection, and the seller doesn't know the answer? Well, I have been in a room with sellers like that, and I've seen people sweat and stammer, not the best foot forward in front of the prospect. It could blow the entire deal in that one moment. That feeling and that face is 100% preventable by knowing the answers for the objections before you walk in. How would it be if you knew the answer for every single objection before you picked up the phone and before you walked out into the meeting? How would you feel if you knew that you were going to answer the objections and get to the next step every single time? What would it do for your sales? And what would it do for your company? Well, what I'm about to tell you directly leads to increased sales, shorter sales cycle, and higher close ratios. And what it is an objections manual specific for your company. I'll show you ours. This is our objections manual for COP Consulting. It is a list of every single objection that we face in every aspect of the sales conversation. Every objection we face with the slam dunk answers that get us to the next step. What I'm going to describe for you right now is how we put these answers together, not only for ourselves, but for our clients too. I'll share with you the secret sauce of how we craft that language and the phrasing. I'll talk about the different formats that the objection answers can come in to be most powerful for you. I'm also going to talk about how you could reduce the number of times you face objections in the first place. So we'll go about it in terms of a couple of steps. Step 1 in putting together the objections manual is to have every client or prospect-facing individual in your company, including the VP of Marketing, the VP of Sales, and the CEO. The CEO needs to be involved in this too. All of these people are involved in the project, and what they do is they make a list of every objection that they face. Step 2, each of these people puts down the slam dunk answer that they found gets them through to the next step. Not just any answer, not the answers that get them through sometimes, but the answers that get them through most times, where the prospect stops and thinks and says, I never thought about it that way. You're right, let's move forward. I'll share a story about an objection answer that worked like that for our company, and so you can have an idea of the kind of objection answer that we're talking about. But one day I was sitting in my car, and it was outside a Starbucks, and it's 4 o'clock, and the only thing standing in between me and that latte is my last phone call of the day. And it's with a prospect that I've been talking to a couple of times. We already had the initial meeting. We already had the follow-up. She's seen the proposal. She had some answers and questions with the proposal, and now this is the final answer. That's what this phone call is today. I've prepared for it. I know what her objections may be. I have answers for her objections. So we get on the phone, and she starts talking, and she said, you know, this is a great program, and this is something we'd like to do, but I just don't think we can move forward on it. I'm not comfortable with spending the money that we need to spend right now, and so therefore I'd like to hold off on a decision for another 6 months or so. I had 2 different ways I could go. In that split second, what am I going to say to her? I could have said, I completely understand. I'm a business owner too. Let's revisit this in 6 months, and I'll call you then. And then I could have gotten my latte. But that's not what I chose to do. I chose to roll up my sleeves and dive in there and answer that objection and see if there was something I could say that would have her change her position and move forward. So this is what I said. I said, when we first started talking, you told me that increasing sales was very important to you. And she said, well, that's right. And I said, you also said to me that the increased sales that you're looking for, you want to come from new clients. She said, yes, that's right too. And I said, we talked about your structure internally, and we both came to the conclusion that the folks you have internally are not really going to be able to get you in the door with the new clients that you're looking to meet. And she said, yes, I know. And I said, well, then let me ask you this question. If we don't move forward together and do this project of us getting you in the door, how are you going to solve this problem? And then I was quiet, and I let her think. And the pause went on for quite some time. And when she started to speak, she said, "You're right. If we don't do this project, we can't meet these new clients. So let's go ahead. Let's get started." And then we closed the sale that day, and I went and had my latte. And that is how we were able to reverse a no or a not now into a closed sale. That program was very successful. In fact, we got a testimonial from her not that long ago. And she has new clients as a result. In that moment, we were able to clear the glaze and change her thinking in a way that had her move forward. So if we apply that to the objection answers that you're writing down, if you have objection answers that you know have changed a prospect's thinking, those are the kinds of words and phrases we're looking for in this step 2 where you're writing down your answers.